Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been away for quite some time, but now we are back and we're telling you to expect very explosive and incisive analysis of the political happenings in the country. And we are back with a story which is making headlines in the Nation newspaper. And that story talks about President William Ruto making a major purge of Gachagua's allies. It seems like President William Ruto is not finished with his former deputy president, who was his former ally, and right now he's going for MPs who he thinks are sympathetic to Rigathi Gachagua. And some of the MPs that President William Ruto and his allies are going for include Ndindi Nyoro, who is the head of Budget and Appropriation Committee, Gadoni Wamushomba, who sits in the Constitutional Implementation Committee, James Gakuya, who sits in the Committee of Trade, Industry and Cooperative Society Committee. Another one is Musau Vincent Musyoka, who sits in the Committee of Departmental Committee on Energy. Another one is Nimrod Bai, Wanjiku Muhia, Kareki Mbiki, and notably Johanna Ngeno, who sits in the Housing Committee, Urban Development and Public Works Committee. So some of these changes, I think we'll look at some why President William Ruto is looking at making these changes. But one key issue is the fact that they are talking about bringing in some ODM legislators into this committee so that it can be a representation of the broad-based government. So on the Daily Nation newspaper, they are talking about the changes will see some ODM legislators co-opted to committee leadership positions. This is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because it's coming at a time when President William Ruto is facing a lot of backlash in central Kenya. So many political pundits asking why President William Ruto would go to that extent. Because at such a point, you'd expect him to sit back and think of a strategy of wooing back central Kenya, or what we call the Mlima. So, ladies and gentlemen, several political pundits are asking why President William Ruto would be bold enough to make such a move. This is coming at a point where President William Ruto was generally expected to go back to the drawing board and formulate like a strategy on how he's going to win back central Kenya. But by making this purge, it seems like President William Ruto is thinking of co-opting other regions or other parties into the leadership of parliament. Said that by co-opting the likes of ODM, Wiper, I don't think Wiper might bite that bait, but by co-opting ODM leadership is like extending an olive branch to ODM so that they can fully get into the leadership of Kenya Kwanza, or by embracing Kenya Kwanza per se. The other factor which has also been mentioned in the Nation newspaper is the fact that President William Ruto is looking for leaders whom he thinks are very bold enough to take on to the opposition right now. And the opposition here is, let me say, the Kalonzo Musyokas, the Rigathi Gachagua's wing, and all that. And he might be tempted to look for members of parliament, maybe from central, like one of the members of parliament who is being mentioned in this newspaper is none other than Molo MP Kuria Kimani. So Kuria Kimani, as the Nation newspaper is has written down here, is that is being propped to take up the position of Ndindi Nyoro. You remember Ndindi Nyoro was President William Ruto's right-hand man when he came into power. But apparently, over time, it's like they are not seeing eye to eye right now. Because one, Ndindi Nyoro is being accused of not supporting the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua, which might work for Ndindi Nyoro in a way. I'll do another video to analyze that. The next video, I think I'll do an analysis of how Ndindi Nyoro can benefit out of the fallout between President William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, and how he's going to benefit from not supporting the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua. So Kimani Kuria is being propped to take up that position. And the reason as to why President William Ruto and his handlers are propping up Kimani Kuria is the fact that they think that Kimani Kuria is very outspoken and very bold in the way in which he's defending the government's position. Take, for example, when the finance bill was being debated before it was passed, Kimani Kuria came out as someone who was pro the tax proposals that were made by the Kenya Kwanza regime. And Kimani Kuria, the member of parliament for Molo, suffered during the Gen Z's protest. So he's being rewarded for being loyal to President William Ruto. And President William Ruto is also looking at rewarding ODM and ODM members of parliament. And by doing this, is trying to buy their loyalty. You know, President William Ruto is right now is banking on the support of Raila Amolo Odinga and his ODM brigade, because as things stand right now, Central Kenya, which voted for Ruto to the last man, has now kind of, it's like President William Ruto has lost Central Kenya. So the only option that he has right now is to try and court other regions. And by courting these regions, the only party that can work with President William Ruto right now is ODM. And ODM is working with President William Ruto based on the fact that President William Ruto is supporting Raila Odinga for the AUC position job. And apart from that, there have also been talks within the corridors of power that ODM has been trying to push for other jobs within government, like CS positions. And one of the positions that they have been fighting for, or they have been looking for, is the CS internal security. So President William Ruto is trying to juggle here, whereby he's trying to tell them that even if we don't give you the CS, the cabinet positions for internal security, what we're going to do is that we can still accommodate some of your members in these parliamentary committee positions. So in a way, he's trying to appease ODM so that one, he's going to buy their support in parliament so that they can vote with him whenever there are bills that are being pushed by government. Another idea which I think Kenyans are not looking at is there is a lot of infighting by members of parliament from Central Kenya. You know, Central Kenya right now, by the mere fact that Rigathi Gachagua is out of the line, who is next? Who was supposed to take over from Rigathi Gachagua in the fight to take over the leadership of Central Kenya? One of the leading lights was Ndindi Nyoro. And now that Ndindi Nyoro is also being kind of cut down to size, I think there is someone who is angling himself here to take over the mantle of Central Kenya political leadership. And that person is Kimani Ichung'wah. So for me, Kimani Ichung'wah is positioning himself in a way that is trying to cut down to size all the emerging political leaders from Central Kenya, so that at the appropriate time, he will take over the leadership of Central Kenya, at the right time. But it will depend on how the electorate in central Kenya will receive his political maneuvering here and there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us today. Until next time, bye bye.